Okay, so we have in the studio our first guest, and he will be joined by the next one. But in the meantime, we have Horace Nia Yankra, a former chairman of the NDC for UK Ireland, now domiciled in Ghana, and sometimes shuffles between the two countries. Thanks for joining me, sir.
It's a pleasure. Good morning.
Well, you
to
were
your
at the
viewers.
Congress.
Yes, I was. I was in the committee.
Oh, you were on the committee for organizing.
So I had to be there.
What's your own observation about the outcome of the whole Congress and its organization?
Well, everything went on well. I mean, for transportation, accommodation, feeding, the organization of the whole thing, the Congress grounds were laid out, and I think that. The media too, well positioned. So all in all, I think that the NDC had a very successful Congress, a Congress that had gone on to show that the NDC is a one party that's organized and making sure that everything works well. So I was happy to be there. I was happy to be part of it, and I'm still a proud member of the NDC. What went on last Saturday, I think, it's a huge statement.
There's been a huge criticism for Ivor Greenstreet, who represented the CPP, to give the party's solidarity message at the event. But the other side to it is that what he said, well, we're told, is the official sentiment of the party, but also reflected the sentiment of the ordinary Ghanaian, or many an ordinary Ghanaian.
Well, I listened to him. And for the first time in my life, my political life, I realized that there's this single person. Well, if it's the same sentiment shared by his party, then for the first time, I've realized that there's a new definition of solidarity message. Yeah, I think that what I've actually experienced would have is always somebody come. You wish you well, blah, blah, blah. And most times, they even joke. Even a party that is so small would even joke that, oh, a year by this time or by the next election, I hope you guys go out and we come. You see? And then everybody would clap. Now, if he has something to say, that is the true nature of things today, I should think that he should have even realized our theme for the Congress. Our theme for the Congress was basically recognizing the challenges, and addressing them for a better Ghana. Now, if a party has such a theme for its Congress, then you should appreciate the fact that the party in itself deemed it fit to address certain challenges that obviously the Ghanaian is facing. So I would certainly have thought that the General Secretary of the CPP would have actually come in a more organized way, in a more respectable manner, tell Ghanaians probably one or two things, because the NPP did it. You understand? Now, even if you look at Ivor Greenstreet, the way he presented himself to the CPP, and you look at Company Japan, and then you look at Madame Ikuadonko, who you and I might think that maybe she's not even educated. You understand? Even if you look at these three and the PNC gentlemen, the way they presented themselves, you would even expect the NPP gentleman, Cabinet Japan, to have even said something worse.
Because what? They are the biggest opposition party.
Thank you very much. But this is a gentleman who came in, whatever he said, the way he said it, showed that he respects himself, respects the NPP, respects the president seated, and respects the NDC. But then he had a point to make. He made it. Listen to Ikuadonko, Madame Ikuadonko, Listen to what she said. Listen to the PNDC gentleman. Listen to what he said. They all solidarity messages. But this is a gentleman who came extempore, disrespected himself, disrespected the CPP, and then made
your estimation?
Well, in the estimation of everybody, and then make sure that Kwame Nkrumah was standing in his grave.
If you have to undertake a solidarity message for an event like that, and for a political party that is in government, and then he didn't start off by saying all the things he said. Of course, he said he's congratulating the NDC for again putting together a Congress such as what it was, but then
he would have chosen that day to address certain.
No, he would have thought. Your party would have.
It's a Congress. What is a Congress for? A Congress. We were there to elect new officers. That is basically what we were going to do. So I would expect him, yeah, with the background, his background. Look at the mother, yeah, his background.
Professor Greenstreet.
Yes, he would have even come out, yeah, and the way he would even present, I could even present what he did, yeah, in a better manner that people would not even attack me. You understand? But for the way he presented everything, excuse me, it was total disrespect of himself and of the CPP. And reading the graphic today, I realized that he's getting the backing of the chairperson of the CPP. Obviously, that is what politics is all about, isn't it? But then they should accept the fact that now somebody else or a party is trying to redefine what a solidarity message is.
Okay. So, in your estimation, and indeed for all those who have criticized Ivor, you think that the platform on which he chose to make that very message and the content of it was not right?
Certainly, capital letters.
So if he had made that in another event, let's say a forum in which the political parties were meeting government, or your party, just an interactive forum, that would have been different.
Yeah.
That would have been more acceptable.
Possibly. Yeah.
What is possibly?
Well, sure.
Good.
Okay. Now, if I were in the CPP and I've been sent to give a solidarity message and I had all that he said here, I would actually look up there and check the NDC's theme for the occasion and address myself or advise myself.
As
you
to
understand?
The content of the message, even though his party has formally given him a speech for which he's memorized and spoken extempo. Because
do you think it was a speech memorized?
You don't think so?
Play it back. When you play it back, you realize that it wasn't a speech that one has memorized. It was an occasion that somebody decided to.
He may have memorized the speech, but
that could never be a speech that had been memorized.
And giving out the message, would have decided to give it as a dialogue.
Oh, please. That could never ever be.
Do you think that the criticism that is being leveled, and even to the extent that some key members of your party have even are perceived to have even insulted his person and his state, do you think that was fair?
Look, there were so many different bodies criticizing Sam George. Now it tells you that what Sam George said has so many.
Not only Sam George.
Well, but mainly, yeah. No, but I'm speaking like the way Bagmin spoke. I mean, Bagmin never attacked his person, i.e., his physical nature. Yeah. What it is that we have different interpretations. It tells you we have different bodies criticizing Sam George, especially. It tells you that what Sam George said, yeah, could be interpreted in so many different ways. So I am very sure that Sam George on that day was actually looking at the content of Ivor's message, not looking at Ivor as somebody who has been disabled.
What does Sam George say?
Well, he needs to be elevated in some or something, and then everybody was talking about, I mean, Sam George meaning his physical condition, but I don't think so. Sam George will never ever do that. It's not that he's an NDC brother, so I'm saying that, but then.
So now you don't condemn Sam George, but you condemn Ivor. So you feel that
Sam George, listen to me. With the interpretations that have come out, don't forget that Sam George has actually come out to say sorry. I listened to what Sam George said. I was watching it on telly. Yeah, what I am trying to say to you is that I am very sure that at that particular point in time, Sam George wasn't attacking.
Do you think, as a leader of the NDC, do you think that the criticism leveled against your government and all the things that have been said about the management of the economy and the state in which the economy is unfair?
I wouldn't say it's unfair. I would say that some of the comments or some of the criticisms are unfortunate. Because, trust me, when fixing an economy, yeah, you would take certain steps to fix an economy. The results would never ever be something that you're going to see here and now. The results are results that certainly will be seen in future. You would see the improvements, the indicators.
So because the results will be gotten, let's say, not here and now, but perhaps in the medium to long-term future, all criticisms that are raised today because of the shortcomings of today are very much intolerable.
Well, we are a tolerant party. That is the more reason why certain things that are said.
Now, how come you can't tolerate Ivor's speech?
Who told you that we couldn't tolerate it?
Because so far there's been extreme criticism.
Look, the tolerance that I am saying, and especially with Ivor Greenstreet, everybody allowed him to speak. He finished his speech. He greeted the president, founder, and the rest, and went and left. We tolerated him. When you are asking somebody else, after he had spoken, to speak, and the person said something, that is fine. For the occasion, for the organizers, and for everybody, Ivor Greenstreet was tolerated. He was given the opportunity.
But there were reactions, and that's what we're talking about. And following even the president had
when we are talking about tolerance here, I mean, look at what happened, the occasion. Nobody actually dragged him away. We gave him the opportunity.
No, but it was a speech, so you only have to reply with a speech. You can't reply with some battering. I think that would have been fair. That's fair, right?
You see, the tolerance here, yeah, one, you can look at it as something that when everything was going on, we allowed him. The tolerance in whatever he said in words is you looking up to what our team, and then you realize that we also have noticed certain challenges and we want to address it as a party and as a government.
Okay, so we have our next guest in, and he also needs to have a bite on this very subject because his party was represented by the General Secretary, Kwabena Agyapong, and they delivered a solidarity message that's, in the estimation of Horace, that was apt, the best that could have been delivered within the circumstances.
No, that's a misinterpretation of what I said.
All right. So what you said, I misinterpreted.
Yeah.
So it means that people also could misinterpret.
You see, you're not.
Right. So let me introduce my guest. After that, you have a bite. I promise you.
No, we are biting now. He's late. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. What I meant was this: if you compare the two, you would realize that Kwabena Agyapong, one, respected himself, two, respected his party, and three, delivered. I mean, a speech that had been written. Okay. You understand? For whatever message...
If Ivor had read from a prepared speech,
it would have been a difference. Listen, compare the two and for what they said. Compare the two and for what they said. And
the MPP's was more tolerable.
You're not getting it.
I'm getting you. Okay, let me introduce Simon Osei-Mensah, Member of Parliament for Bosomtwe. He's also a member of the MPP, and he will be joining Horace as we also conclude our discussions on this very subject. We're taking a break, we'll be right back. So we've been joined by Simon Osei-Mensah, Member of Parliament for Bosomtwe. He's also a member of the MPP. And Simon, we're just talking about Ivor Greenstreet and making a lot more comparison of his speech, against others that were given not only by your party but also the other parties, that seemed to have elicited a lot more criticism in many respects. There's been some criticism that say that what he said, is the mindset of the ordinary Ghanaian. It depends on relatively who the ordinary Ghanaian is and which side of the divide the ordinary Ghanaian will be. But what's your own observation about the speech by Ivor, but also the general organization of the Congress by the NDC?
Thank you very much. First of all, I wish to congratulate the NDC for organizing successful Congress. But I should say it was without, I cannot say it was without hitches. There were some few problems, and one is what you just mentioned. As a principle, personal principle, I prefer to criticize policies, statements, but not link whatever criticism I have to the personality. See, the mistake here he made was linking whatever he said to the wheelchair. Do you understand it?
To
the wheelchair.
Whose criticism are you talking about?
I'm not going to Green Street.
Okay.
You know, you can criticize me that, Simon, what you are saying doesn't make sense. I think you are not facing reality. But if you tell me, Simon, what you are saying is because you are so short. You understand it? So you cannot see far. It's an insult.
Well, true, but that's relative as well. Because what the gentleman said about Ivor Green Street was that if he was elevated, he would perhaps see what good is coming out of the policies being implemented by government. And so elevation is a word, and it's been interpreted in many ways, and in many respects as well.
Elevated and not fit to the wheelchair. You see,
no, he didn't bring wheelchair in it, but there was elevation.
That's what I read.
Okay. The post was on Facebook.
Elevation, in what sense? Status, education wise.
Because he's a lawyer, though.
Knowledge, what? You see, when you look at somebody, you have to choose your words very carefully.
So that you don't offend sensibilities?
If you had said it to me, it could have been interpreted differently. If he had said it to my brother, it could have been interpreted differently. You see, you look at the person that you are talking to. Once you link this to somebody who is physically challenged and uses the wheelchair, that's the obvious interpretation that will come. You can try to justify it later by giving another interpretation depending on the response from the general public. But it won't hold, it won't wash.
So you think that was unpalatable?
Exactly.
Okay.
And I think if he says he's apologizing, he should apologize without digressions.
Without making explanations.
He tries to say, I'm apologizing, and try to justify at the same time. It's not possible.
Well, in many respects, he may be apologizing for using a word which he feels may have been misinterpreted by many people. And so for that, he's retracting and saying, I apologize for using the word. But then he's explaining this is not what he meant. Contrary to what perhaps the perceived misinterpretation of his usage may be by many people.
If you say that you are apologizing, it didn't mean what you said, and it's not linked to his physical disability, then what again? What elevation?
So you think
you should explain.
So you think that was mischief? Initial?
Exactly.
Okay.
It is and it's still. Okay. Not that initial. He is trying to do some form of damage control that he's made to his party. Because for not this, there will have been little criticism of the Congress. But look, now all the good things that happen at the place, everybody is forgotten about it.
No,
and we are discussing Sam George.
Well, you can't entirely be true about it, because you, in your own observation, has said that it was a well-organized Congress. But let's talk about the substantive, because what has elicited all this very criticism by even Sam George and the others is because of the speech made by Ivor. Do you think that it was the best place to make that speech, and what do you make of the speech that he made? It was supposed to be a solidarity message. What do we think solidarity messages are?
If solidarity message doesn't necessarily mean go and sing praises, unless I don't understand it. I can come to you, deliver solidarity message, say something good about you, and advise you on issues I think are not going on well with you. You see, I think the man was possessed with the truth and realities, not demons. The demon doesn't say the truth unless somebody can prove me otherwise. If all the things that he said, I wish one could tell me this is not true, that is not true in this country. So he was possessed with the reality.
So you're saying what you're saying was the truth?
Tell me what was in the truth. You see, I'm scared to know whatever he said that was in the truth. That's the problem I'm having now. So if, for instance, maybe on your birthday, you are expecting me to come and give you present gifts and praise you, shower all sorts of praises on you, then I come, say, oh, my brother, I thank God for your life. I thank God for bringing you this far. I thank God for giving you all these success. But I think A, B, C, and D could be changed in the future.
So you think that's what Ivor did?
I mean, that's how I see it. You see, but because we are used to a certain pattern of solidarity messages where no criticism must be made. It's just like when we are mourning the death. Give me one person who goes and stand that this was a very bad man.
When you do that, you say you're a bad person.
Exactly.
But even though the person may have naturally been a bad person in life.
So you see, so if somebody comes and says that this man, he lived an excellent life, but when at this point or in these areas, whoever is here should take a cue from it and should not go that way.
This very allusion you're making is also very much steeped in our tradition and customs because you don't speak ill, especially of the occasion, etc.
Yeah.
And we can make all those attributions to the dead and all.
Yeah.
Do you think that perhaps having veered off what is supposed to be the norm, customarily and tradition, that may have also incurred a lot of wrath with what he said?
If you've watched, sometimes some of the men of God, when they attend funerals, after they've said all the good things, at the end, they give advice. And the advice they give has never ever been a praise.
Which is?
For instance, if my pastor knew that, or say, you are a politician, people are looking at you also to develop their life for the future. Sometimes I see you drinking too much. Do you understand it? I don't take it. I pass away. Do you understand it? My reverend minister comes to the funeral. He will say the good things about me, but the tail end will advise people that this is my colleague too. I advised him several times. I've said in the Bible, A, B, C, and D, we should keep away from drinks, we should keep away from smoking.
I think I've heard that in
several times.
Okay.
You see, and when they say this,
so I get your point.
Exactly. So that is the angle I want us to take the issue.
Why is it that your party is said to have delivered a message that arguably is more digestible compared, and even in many respects very, very much civil, compared to what the CPP may have read out?
You know, what Ivor said, if it had come from MPP, to have been worse.
You mean it would have been more acceptable, or the criticism would have been
worse?
Okay.
You know, with MPP and NDC, now, if you've noticed, there's a certain form of dynamics developing. We've all realized that whether the country will be peaceful, stable,
depends on the two of you.
Yes. So now the mindset is changing.
So you're saying what Ivor said could result to instability?
No. If it had come from us, they say, look at them.
No, you're talking about the level.
No, it cannot.
You're talking about the level or the magnitude. And because he comes from a smaller party, the magnitude is lower. But still causes some level of incivility.
Yeah. You see, yes.
And instability.
Not instability.
And disagreement. Rancor.
Exactly.
Etc.
Yes.
Okay. And creates some level of animosity as well. So why then do you think that, well, the speech he gave was a reflection of what should be said?
No. You see, what the angle I'm trying to come from is you have allowed me to land so that you get better precision of what I was trying to say. When you have like a football match between Accra House of Folk and Kotoko. Do you understand it? Irrespective of whichever turf is being played, the animosity is totally different. The environment is totally different than if Kotoko is playing, let's say, Hazakis, or is playing, let's say, Heart of Lions. Do you understand it? Each wants to defeat the other for a record.
So there's a rivalry and there's tension.
Yes. There's none seriously between CPP, MPP, or even NDC.
CPP, NDC.
Yes.
Okay.
And even NDC, MPP, they are better friends than CPP, MPP. Anybody who knows the political terrain.
Just based on how they comport themselves. Okay.
No, and again, where both of them came from. If you look at the background, both of them are social democrats. Initially, they were socialists. Now they say social democrats. But if you come to the MPP, we are not. You understand it? So they get on better than maybe CPP and MPP. You know, this issue sometimes is difficult for someone to see the truth. But the truth pays a lot. Me, my brother, even I'm older than you, far older than you, if you see me doing something wrong and you are bold to tell me or say, this thing you are doing, I think it's not right.
I have to take it in good faith. Or you have to take it in good faith.
Look, I see my critics
depending on the platform.
I see my critics as my best friends.
So you're thinking the NDC is intolerable?
That is where it's getting to. No,
so they should tone down.
Previously, I thought they are intolerable to MPP because we are the two parties
that have been in government since the Fourth Republic.
And at any point, and currently, we are the two parties that can come to power. Do you understand it? So I felt both of us are intolerable to each other. But to the extent of going to CPP, it's making it look like it's not only towards MPP, but that is the nature.
Well, somebody will say you're doing politics, really.
Well,
you're concluding.
Well, it's all about politics anyway. I don't think that the NDC is an intolerable party.
But to the extent that you can't take.
You see, there are so many ways that you could actually paint somebody, whether he or she is intolerable. You understand? Now, one, look at the occasion. This gentleman had his time to say whatever he has to say. Now, various institutions or people or whoever are actually looking at what he said. Therefore, we are having certain comments. You understand? It doesn't mean that we are intolerable. If maybe he was kicked out, he was manhandled, anything at all to do with the time given to him, you understand? Then you could say that, look, we disrupted his message. He was given the time to deliver the message, and for whatever he said, people were looking at the platform and saying that A, B, C, D, E. Hence, we are here discussing him. I certainly am saying that, for example, my good friend was saying
we're here discussing because of the reactions that we've had.
It is good. Everybody will be learning.
Your party's reaction towards it. That's why we're here discussing him.
I mean, he's also reacted. He's discussed it. It's a reaction. You understand? Now, listen to me.
He's reacting to your reaction.
No, he was saying that what is wrong with what he said? Yeah, everything that he said, was true. What is wrong with what the president said? You look at the president's speech, everything that he said about steps being taken, about things that have been achieved.
About people being myopic? Was true.
Yes, was true. Mm-hmm. Everything that the president, everything that president said, Madam Ikriadonko said, true or false, they were all true. The PS and PNC gentleman, whatever he said.
But
Ivor's one, we are saying that for whatever he said at that particular point in time, a smart politician, would have actually looked at our theme for the day, for the occasion. You understand? And then advise his or herself.
All right. Please conclude
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I am saying here and now is that St. George never ever referred to Ivor's physical condition and linked anything that Ivor said to a wheelchair. What I am saying today is that unfortunately, Ivor's message on the day and whatever he said has actually had, what do you call him, President Nkrumah turning his grave.